Hello, everyone. This is Jennifer, and I'm coming back to you live with a very interesting person that I've had the pleasure of meeting and knowing for a couple of years. This is going to be something that is going to be interesting for many people because we're going to change some tables around here. So, coming to you live from Conversations and Conscious Change, this is Jennifer once again. And today we're going to be talking about a person who has done a lot of work, yet does it very silently and behind the scenes. We have always heard about behind every successful man, there's this amazing woman who supports him. Well, my story today is about a gentleman who has taken the role of being that supportive husband and has really made things wonderful for his wife and the business. So, welcome on the call, Abdul Rashid Shafare, and many people fondly call you Rashid. Is that okay if I say Rashid on this call?
That's perfect. Hi, Jennifer.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing awesome now that I have you on the call, and I'm going to be sharing with all our audiences as to what an amazing gentleman you are. I know you don't like taking compliments very easily. Well, today I'm going to question you so that you can be complimented many a time over and over. Okay? So,
Okay. That's
we are going to be sharing your story today, Rashid, and it
mm,
is about you being this amazing person who is the managing director of Training Excellence in South Africa.
mm.
You have got a bachelor's in accounting and science, and you've been in many of financial management positions. But then again, you decided to change. Now, I'd like to know what was that change all about, and did you go into it consciously? What happened there? I know that today that you're the managing director and working along with the wonderful Hawa, your wife, who's an amazing person who I know personally, and I think she is phenomenal. But I wanted to get to know, how did you and Hawa decide to come together to create far greater? So please share with us what made you choose to really contribute to Hawa leaving whatever it is that you were doing in financial management and choose to support her in her business.
Okay. That takes me back over 20 years now. I think it's 21 years this year that I
Yeah.
joined Harvard. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so, yeah, so it was a conscious decision, obviously,
Yeah.
but yeah, there were circumstances that led to it. Um, we now married for, I think it's 27 years.
Okay.
Uh, Yeah, and we had a child, a son, after 2 years of marriage,
Okay.
and he wasn't well. And after about 21 months, he had to leave this world and carry on with his journey further.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, obviously, I had this wonderful, lovely job as a financial manager for an exciting industry, the advertising industry, and it was
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
all glamour and lovely perks that went with that. But I wasn't there when he passed on. I was sitting in my office,
Oh my God.
uh, and when I got a call that come through and he's not doing well,
Mm-hmm.
and mm, and because it was peak hour, the traffic and so forth. By the time I got there, it was too late and he was gone, so I couldn't say my goodbye or see him go. I think there consciously, I made my decision that if I am going to have another child, then I want to be there for them. I don't want to be sitting in an office doing 12, 15-hour stints, and I was, yeah, so it was basically anybody that's in that field and in the corporate side, you're spending 12, 15 hours in most days. And um, yeah, and I think what triggered that also off, I think, is once I walked out at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and your boss tells me, "Oh, wow, only half day today," and that kind of got me thinking.
Yeah, you tend to actually have that. And
Yeah, when
yeah.
my son passed on, subconsciously and consciously have come to, if God blesses me with another child, then I want to be there for that child. And lo and behold, we fell pregnant again. And by that time, Hava started the business training excellence,
Hmm.
some corporate challenges of our own.
Yeah.
Was a successful corporate person in HR, HR manager for a large bank,
Hmm.
and came with the changes in 2000 and so forth. And not to go into the long story, she started her training business, and she was doing well for the first year. And then we fell pregnant with our daughter, and then she wanted to close it off for 6 months, go on maternity leave,
Hmm.
and, so that she could give birth and then carry on with the business after that.
Okay.
So
Makes
that,
sense. Absolutely. Yeah.
so that's when I told myself, hold on, you've got a good thing going here, and she was doing well.
Hmm.
So why don't I come in and carry on
Hmm.
uh, and take it from there?
All right.
Uh, so yeah, how have been? How much is in no ways? You're not a trainer. You haven't trained anything in your life. You're a financial guy. You're an accountant. What do you know about training and standing in front of a classroom and training?
Hmm.
I said, well, we can give it a shot because that time we were doing predominantly IT training. It
Okay.
wasn't it was 95% of our business was pure IT training. So
Okay.
I said, okay, but let's give it a shot. I mean, then she said, the only way I'm going to allow you into the business is if you go for some formal training to become a trainer. Once you get, then I'll allow you.
Tough cookie, huh?
Which I obliged, and yeah, yeah, it was a major risk. It was, I mean, as I mentioned, I had a good job, I had good perks, company car, whatever perks you could think of, I
Hmm.
had. I was my own boss, no, besides the CEO, nobody behind me and above me. And I had a very good relationship with the CEO. And so it was all good.
Hmm.
But yeah, at the end of the day, I've also got this philosophy that the day you dragging yourself out of bed and you dragging yourself into the office with your tongue hanging out, that's the time for change. You're not doing yourself any favors. You're not doing your company any favors. And you're not doing anybody any favors. So when that day comes where you're dragging yourself and everything is just schlep, then it's time for a change.
Totally.
And,
I
and
can't
yeah,
agree with you more. It's not about forcing yourself out of bed to actually go and do a job that doesn't bring you any joy at all. Very true.
yeah. And all the perks didn't, make me jump out of bed anyway. So, yeah, so that's the plunge I took. There's a plunge we took. But no, basically, I mean, we didn't plan it or anything of that sort. It just happened, and yeah, and I got into it. I went on training for a couple of days. Got my certificate, took it to Harvard. I said, yeah, I am now.
A trainer, a qualified one. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I left my job and I started. And basically, I sat in Harvard's training. While she was training, I learned, and
Mm.
slowly, I started doing one module and then one section, and next thing I know, I'm the full-time IT trainer of Training X.
Wonderful. Now
Yeah,
that's something very exciting. So this whole thing about the one thing that I'm getting from our conversation is as a result of your child passing on and you not being there was the trigger for you to actually step into the training and to facilitate and help Hava in the business side of things. Is that correct?
yeah, I think think the decision was, or is that I needed to be control. I need to be in control of my own time.
Ah,
Uh,
okay. Okay, cool. That's something brilliant. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
uh, and working for a corporate, working for somebody doesn't allow you to do that. Yeah. So I think that was whether it was a wise decision or not, but that was the ultimate thing to say. I needed to be there when I knew I wanted to be there. I didn't have to ask permission to anybody for anybody.
Yeah, and I think I've known you quite a while now, and so have I known your brilliant wife, Hawa. Things have not been very, very happy at the onset when you all started off, as you were explaining. Um, there have been a lot of very painful and heartbreaking experiences that both of you have gone through. Would you be okay to share that with us?
Yeah, sure. No issues. I love to share that with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you had the first baby and the first baby passed on. Then Hava fell pregnant again when you came into the business as a trainer after proving to her that you were a good trainer. And then what happened then? What happened? Hava was pregnant the second time. What happened then?
We gave birth to our daughter in September 1999,
Mm,
and yeah, as fate would have it, or as the Almighty upstairs would have it, we have a child with the exact same condition as my first son,
okay.
uh, and a very rare brain condition
Mm,
that basically starts at about while in gestation, about 13 weeks.
mm,
Basically, the brain stops migrating to the skull.
okay.
Uh, and the result of that is they, yeah, so they're physically and mentally challenged. They can't basically sit, walk, or eat, or anything of that sort. So, yeah, so it was the same condition as
The
my son.
first baby. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah, so that brought its own challenges, and I would take away the word not happy. I think we were happy, and it was a challenge, and it turned out to be in all three incidents. My first son, yeah, he went through a very tough time,
Mm.
but it turned out to be what I call a pleasurable challenge. It was I don't know, somehow the other rewarding looking after them. Somehow the other it was took everything that we had, but it was pleasurable. It was a pleasure looking after them. The only thing obviously was not the nice side of it was to see them in pain. But other than that, it was a complete pleasure, and it was a complete privilege to look after them and do whatever we could to make their life as easy as we could.
You see that,
So
so Rashid, that I'd like to share with our listeners here is one thing that I admire about you and Hava has been the amazing capacity for you both as parents, even in that ordeal, to be present in the moment, to enjoy the pleasures of having the children and truly having joy with looking after them. There are not very many people who have got that capacity to be present in the moment. And I find that a remarkable strength, a remarkable strength, and that all of us could actually learn from and truly choose to be present in the moment of enjoying every moment that we have in any situation, be it a
yeah,
challenge or otherwise. Because the way I look at it is challenges are there for everyone, but if we were to be present, we will actually see the gift in that challenge that is there to reward us, to make us
exactly.
stronger, to make us better.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
please. Yeah, please carry on.
at the first. I mean, obviously, like any normal human beings, uh, you have your apprehensions and you have your questions, and you have your all of a sudden, is there a creator, and all those kind of questions that comes soon. And but eventually, the wisdom comes, and if you just open up to it, and you just have to say, okay, I think the question came in a little bit back when my first son was born, and we came to find out that he's got this condition, and no doctor knew about it. No doctor in South Africa knew about the condition. It was unheard of. Uh, and they were stuck, and they couldn't advise, and nobody in the world could advise. And that time there was no internet and so forth. So
Mm.
we were, yeah. But Hava asked me a question, uh, and she said, "Why me?" And something came out of my mouth, and I said, "Why not you?" You know.
Wow.
And I said, "Okay, if do you wish this on to anybody else? Do you wish this onto your neighbor, to your brother, or to onto even onto your enemy?" And she said, "No." Then I said, "Then why not? We are not that special. So let's handle this. Let's take it, and let's do whatever we can and as best as we can." So I don't know where those words came from, but it came out, and that's basically defining the way of our kids.
Yeah, this is the words of wisdom coming out through you for you to be the strength and the pillar behind Hawa or
Yeah,
the situation at that particular moment.
yeah.
So
And
then what else happened then after that, Rashid?
my daughter was born, and obviously we had our challenges with her with hospitalization and she not being well. Uh, and we obviously, our main objective was trying to find a miracle for her. And as was my first son, we went in searching for a miracle. And obviously, the first trip we went to is to Mecca and Medina.
Mm-hmm.
And we took her there, and we spent the whole of Ramadan in Mecca and Medina.
Wow.
Uh, 12 days in Mecca and 12 days in Medina, looking for this miracle. You
Mm,
know,
mm. That's
if I find God, I'm going to find God in the holiest places. You
yes.
know, yeah. And then 12 days in Mecca and doing all the rituals that you do, and nothing happening.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, maybe he's sending me to his prophet's place to find a miracle there.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
So we went to Medina, and we spent 12 days there and doing the prayers and the rituals there. And the day before we leaving, I'll never forget, and the next day was Eid.
Mm,
Uh, and the day before, and I was talking to God, and I said, "Hold on, where is this miracle? I came to your house, I came to your
mm,
prophet's house. Where is this miracle? I'm looking for this miracle. And I was asking the questions.
mm,
Uh, then I'm walking into the streets of Medina, and I see this mother with this her daughter in a wheelchair.
mm,
You can just imagine it's sitting in a normal wheelchair,
mm,
and her torso is normal, but her upper body,
mm.
her face and her upper body is facing her mother on the other side.
Wow.
And I looked at this body and this woman, this child, and I looked at the mother, and I lifted my hands to God. I said, "Thank you,
You
God,
got
thank
your answer. Yeah.
you." And that was the miracle that I was looking for. And after that, I said, "Okay, I will accept whatever it is. There's a purpose for this child in my life, or this children in my life." And that was it. That I was thrown back to South Africa, and that changed a few things in the perspective of life. And in 2003, we fell pregnant again.
Mm,
And August of 2003, we gave birth to our son, Muhammad Uwais. And yep, third time, same thing. He's also affected, and he's also got the same conditions.
my God.
So
Oh.
in between, so in total, basically, we went through 7 pregnancies, three of them which we have gave birth to, and 4 miscarriages, and that was our challenge and our gift from as far as our children is concerned. That was in 2003 when he was born. Yeah.
So yes, when people talk about having challenges and they hear your story and Hava's story, it's like, is it anything compared? Seriously, ladies and gents, is it really anything that is comparable? And each one of us has challenges, and they come in different forms and shapes and sizes. But today we're talking to Rashid, and we want to hear from Rashid. How did you cope with all of this, Rashid? I understand that you were in the moment and you were giving all three kids, and all
No,
three
two,
kids came in
two.
and gave it each, and each kid,
Mm.
when I have spoken to you all, actually came to give you a lesson, to teach you something. And they have been the motivating factor for what you all do today.
Yes.
So could you share with our audience as to how did you cope with all of this, and what hope did it bring to you and the business that you all do today?
Uh, I don't know. There's that famous saying in the Quran, and I suppose in other religious books as well, is the Almighty wouldn't burden you more than what you can handle.
That is so true.
And yeah, and for some reason he thought we could handle quite a bit. So I don't know what made him decide that, but anyway, he decided that, and he was right. I think we, for some reason, I don't know. I cannot explain it.
Hmm.
Uh, we were given the strength, we were given the courage, we were given the know-how and the ability. Obviously, we didn't get it right all the time. We went through our stresses and frustration, but most times, we cope some or the other. What's the secret behind it? I got no idea.
The secret is you being able to pull your socks up and to say, okay, fine, this is what
Yeah,
it is. This is what
yeah,
was given to me, and this is what was dished out to us. And yet, we are not here to play it small. We're here to stand up tall and to
yeah.
and to actually be that amazing gift that we are here as husband and wife to be. So now tell me about how it is that this amazing company of yours started, and started creating this amazing impact, because I know you and Hava actually are
Yeah.
doing some phenomenal work nowadays. So tell us about the work that you guys do together.
Yeah, in all that we managed our company, Training Excellence. Um, uh, it became a well-known brand where other companies wanted to buy us out and so forth.
Hmm.
And it grew nicely. Obviously, it got the normal business ups and downs. That stresses as well. But I'd just like to relate to one incident that I think brought has played a significant part in what we do now.
Please do.
Is that yeah, we were invited for a function at one of our cousins' place. It was a religious function, and with that time we had both my daughter and my son on wheelchairs,
Hmm.
and we walked into the house, and they set up an old man with a white beard and a red cap. This like a Malay in Malaysia, they have this red caps.
Yes, that's
Uh,
correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Turkish kind of Turkish
Yes,
Malaysian
yes, yes, yes.
with a stick and leaning on a stick uh, Haba's cousin introduced us to him.
Mm-hmm.
He was from a place called Cape Town, and he came to visit his son. And his son was also her cousin's friend, so they were there for the function.
Mm-hmm.
Introduced us to say, this is Hawa and Rashid, and these are their two kids, Batul and Muhammad Awais, which they were on a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And his words were, thou art very blessed, in the Shakespearean language,
Yes, yes.
very eloquently and very, I don't know, just wonderful. It just sounded wonderful, and it just the way he said it, thou art very blessed. And I looked at him and said, excuse me, and he said, thou art very blessed. And I said, please explain. And he says, God has chosen you to be his ambassadors, that when others see your pain, their pain eases.
Oh my
Uh,
God. That is phenomenal.
yeah. So I think that was the turning point
Right.
in the way we saw our gifts that were given to us. So I
Wonderful.
think that was the point when we realized the the magnitude of what has been given to us through the kids of ours.
Totally.
Uh, and that's changed everything for us, and we then started living, and that's okay. How can we be the best examples to everybody else? How is, if this is the challenge that has been put onto us, this is the responsibility that has been given to us, then we need to live by it, and we need to live as best as we can, so other people's burden and other people's pain can be eased, and so our children's purpose in coming to this world will be fulfilled. And that is what we're trying to do, and that is what our journey is forward. Is there ever way where we can, through our story, through our experience, uh, through our challenges, if we can ease somebody else's pain for just even a moment, then our kids' purpose in coming to this world will be fulfilled.
Wonderful. Awesome. But you have taken that a couple of steps further now in helping other people and how they perceive their challenges.
Yes.
By now, challenges are here, especially at this time, where challenges are all about, do people know what they're doing? Do people have the knowledge of how to do things? How are people keeping jobs? How are people keeping things in order? How are things actually going to move forward, especially with this COVID-19 on?
Mm-hmm.
And at this particular moment in time, both Hava and you are going beyond the call of duty. And I've had the pleasure of being part of that. So thank you very much, both of you, to be able to share knowledge, skills, talent, and capacities of
Mm-hmm.
helping other people in this time of need. So, can you see everything that you're being and everything that you're doing is actually facilitating the change of helping people to cope, giving them hope. So
Yes.
that is exactly what it is that is infiltrated in everything that you do in your business too. So your children are present in your business as well, because they are those amazing guardian angels who are driving it through you guys. So yes, what
Yeah.
that old gentleman said to you was truly something that has inspired you to take
Yeah.
action,
Yeah.
having those amazing angels who
Yeah.
still work through you and for you and making
Yes.
things possible with you and
Yeah.
sharing your message. Now that is something totally incredible. And I'd like everyone who's on the call to truly get it. Each one of us has challenges, but within those challenges lies that amazing gift, that gift that may not be available for us to see immediately. But please know that there is a gift. So instead of moaning and groaning and complaining and going through the drama and the trauma of everything, please still yourself. Be silent. As I say, the new SLA is to stop, to listen, and to ask questions and to get the awareness of what is being brought to you and how it will work through you for you to come out on the other side being brilliant as you. That's true. So, Rashid, tell us what is it that you all are doing right now as part of Training Excellence. You're not only in South Africa, but you're in the UAE as well. So please do share with us what all you all do as part of your company right now. What are the services you provide?
Uh, I'm predominantly with Training Action in South Africa, and Hava has been appointed CEO of the company called Obrix here in the UAE in the
Okay,
past year or so.
okay,
And my 90% of my day is still goes in managing Training Excellence, which is in South Africa,
okay.
uh, and
So,
that.
So,
Yeah, and that
as part of training excellence, what is it that you take care of there?
in South Africa, it's a fully fledged training company. So we do quite a bit of what in South Africa called learnerships. So it's 1 year programs that the government pays for students that are unemployed, and we train them on qualifications and get them job ready within a year. So when they qualified, they can go into the workplaces quite ready.
Wow, that's a really beautiful way to look at it. A good way
Yeah,
of doing it, right?
yeah. So
Cool.
we've been involved in that for past now about 10, 15 years. We also get involved with disability training, learnerships, what we call is training people with disabilities and getting them work ready. Um,
Wonderful.
so that's, yeah. So, and we do a lot of, we are a certified assessment center. So we do a lot of company assessments, and a lot of now is our focus is on well-being testing and assessing the well-being of employees within an organization.
That's
How
wonderful.
are your employees? What's their stress levels like? What is their frustration levels like? Do they believe they are achieving? Do they believe they have full locus of control? Do they believe that you know they are moving ahead? So we measure employee engagement. So we measure now within, and all this is online, whether how engaged are your employees, what is their well-being in your work environment, and thirdly, and very dynamically, we find out what drives each of your employees into action. So it's what we call personal driving dynamics, and that has taken quite a bit of a, I would say about 50, 60% of our business now. That is what we do. So uh, so that assessment is done before we do any training now, any coaching or any of that sort. So we kind of take away the guesswork. We can scientifically now gauge your stress levels, your frustration levels, your life satisfaction levels, your job satisfaction levels, done very scientifically through this assessment, and that helps us even further to help people get over whatever they are going through. So this
Wonderful.
assessment gives us a very, very accurate picture of what's happening in your life, and yeah, that is phenomenal, and that is what we look forward to. So once we see the assessment, say, okay, here's the solution. This is how we can help you. So it's not only in our training, because before it was okay, we don't know how to communicate. Let's go on training, and
Hmm.
now we say not the issue. It just could be you just need a coaching set, couple of coaching sessions to solve out what's been happening at home or whatever it is.
That's a very interesting way of looking at it. I think that must have taken a lot of work, and actually, you must be enjoying that because people must be getting awesome results with that kind of assessment.
Definitely, yeah. That change we see in people, because people, as human beings, yeah, we want to go to Mars, but we got no idea what's happening within ourselves. Uh,
Which is, oh my God, that is so true. That is
yeah,
so true.
yeah.
Exactly. And
So
I think one of the most important things is once people can find out what's wrong with them or what's not working for them, rather.
yeah, yeah,
But there's so many challenges with people actually acknowledging the fact that, okay, this is not really working for me right now. What can I do to change it? So I think
yeah,
this would be something that will assist them in facilitating them to perceive the possibility of change as a result of them acknowledging, like, yes, actually that is what is going on, because it's
yeah,
not something fabricated. It's something that they are going to be um, sharing with you, and actually will show up in the assessments that you all are doing. So that's a
yeah,
pretty cool way of actually looking at it.
yeah.
Anyway, um,
Just to add, Jenny, if you don't mind, the assessment is the nice thing about the assessment is the answers come from your subconscious mind and not from your conscious mind, and that's where we believe
exactly,
the truth is.
exactly, which is true.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's all about being consciously aware. So what you're doing is you're bringing it up from the subconscious and making them consciously aware that
yes,
there is a situation. And then again, there's this thing about Do you find that many people are resisting the change that you would like to bring to them?
Oh yeah, I mean, the frustration is that the top people, that the top management,
Hmm.
their attitude and their, I don't know, they fear of not knowing.
Yes.
Terrifies me sometimes. That as a leader, as a CEO of a company, you don't want to know what's going on. That baffles me. But quite a
I
bit
think,
actually.
yeah, which is where all the challenges are showing up now. If you see, if people were, the way that I look at it, if people were open
Yeah,
to be vulnerable enough to say, okay, fine, the organization is larger than myself. The
yeah,
organization is not me, but
mm,
it's the embodiment of everyone who's working together to create far greater. If we were to
yes,
have that kind of thing within every organization, within every leader and every
mm,
employee as well, that our designations do not separate us, but congregate us to create greater, it will be a
yeah,
totally different ballgame. I mean, we wouldn't be having these kind of scenarios or situations that we're being faced with and challenged now. We would have been
exactly.
prepared for something of this sort. Wouldn't you agree?
No, definitely. I mean, to me, not knowing or afraid of knowing is a sign of weakness, to be honest.
True.
The CEO that's open to say, okay, I'm vulnerable. I need coaching. I need guidance. I need somebody to hold my hand
Hmm.
through. Because a CEO's job is stressful. It's crazy stressful. And everything depends on him, and people's lives depend on him. And for you to turn around that it doesn't affect you, you're living a lie. So that's
You're very true, very true,
Yeah. So
very
the guys that are open to it, they are my heroes who say, okay, I'm a CEO of a major company, but yeah, I've got these challenges. My stress level is high. My frustration level is high. Please help me. And let's do it. I mean, and that's where, I see them as the heroes and not the ones that are hiding away and saying this, no, there's no problem.
They are the actually, you're very right, Rishi. They are the actual heroes who are willing to go beyond their limitations of what it is they have concluded as what they think they have to be or should be seen. Because we keep working all the time with what other people think about us. And in
Yeah.
my opinion, what other people think about you is none of your damn business. Don't make it your business, for God's sake, because it'll take you down the drain. Seriously. So
Yeah.
yes,
Uh,
it's really remarkable to actually see how people have
yeah,
to
but
actually choose to change. Truly,
I agree with you, Jennifer, but in the same breath, how other people perceive you is also how they will react to you. So that also will affect you in some way or the other. So you need to be cognitive of the fact that, okay, how I'm being perceived by others and what my behavior being perceived by others. And is that creating a win-win situation for me, or is it creating a win-lose where I win, you lose? So yeah, so those other people's business is, I mean, the way they see you is none of your business, but perception is important.
I get that. What I'm talking about is if perception was important, then let that be a reflection of where it is that you would actually use that to your advantage,
Definitely.
not your disadvantage, right? Because that's what we
Definitely.
do. And if we could stop judging, I think judgment is the one of the biggest challenges that everyone has. To
Oh
me,
God. Yeah.
a judgment is always about trying to maintain your point of view against someone else's point of view. And it's not about that. It's about actually coming together to create far greater. I keep
Yeah.
saying that all the time. And I think now's the best time to actually see coming into action and actually
Yeah.
everyone has to come together, be it in organizations or be it with different organizations with different people.
Mm.
Coming together is now we all united and we all are one. So why not have fun with that instead of having more stress with that? Seriously,
Yeah.
that's the way that I
Definitely.
look at it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Agree with you.
so tell me, I'm going to put you on the spot now, Rashid.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
you were to give three of your golden nuggets of wisdom to our listeners, what would those three amazing things you would like to share with us so that we can actually use them and our audiences can use them to help them to become grander versions of themselves, more consciously aware?
Um, Three nuggets. I
Hmm.
don't think so. I've figured out the mysteries of life is just to give anybody a solid nugget.
There we go. I have heard you speak, Rashid, so stop being so,
Yeah, well,
so.
what I'll share with you is basically what I'm going through myself every day. With the reminders I'm giving myself and the way I'm trying to change myself. So if I can share that with you, and if it
Sure.
resonates
Please,
with
please.
your listeners, and hopefully it does, and maybe you can take that as an advice, because the last thing I want to do is advise somebody and I don't live by it and I don't practice it myself.
You walk the talk. So tell us what it is that your talk is so we can all walk with you.
Yeah. So I think the first one that I remind myself every day is very how to manage my ego. I'm trying to get rid of the ego, but that's bloody difficult. Excuse my language. Best I can do is trying to
It's all
suppress,
okay. Go for it.
trying to suppress it or to manage it or to control my ego, because I think the ego is the one that brings out the conflict, the jealousy, the breaking up of relationships, and as you mentioned earlier, the judgment of others. I think those who judge is they got the ego problem, and those of us who judge, we need to check our ego, and so that's what I try and work on every day. I say, okay, how can I just control my ego? So if I find myself in a conflict situation and I have to constantly remind myself, Rashid, let go of the ego,
Mm,
and
mm.
do that. I'm hoping that once I let go of the ego, I can build my heart or at peace and not at war.
Okay.
And all right, and if I am able to maintain that, if I can get my heart at peace at most times, then that will reflect in my character, my attitude, my speech, my behavior, and because all that will be aligned to the heart of peace. So
Mm,
the language I speak, the words that come out of my mouth will be of peace and not of hate and not of war.
okay.
All right, so that's the one thing I'm working on. The second thing is basically is that what I've realized is that whatever one does or whatever, no matter how significant it is, because of the ego, we want full appreciation for it, we want full acknowledgement for it, and we want for the other person to acknowledge and appreciate it fully, and that I don't think so is possible. Myself, if somebody does something for me, do I fully appreciate it? Do I fully acknowledge it? I don't think so. So, so when I do things, I try and remind myself is try and have a higher purpose to do whatever you're doing. So if I'm doing something for somebody, try and do it for a higher purpose and not for the person. And that will, take away the ego, and that will take away the need for acknowledgement and appreciation.
Okay.
Uh, that's my experience.
Okay.
And then the third one, I think this one is scary for, I think it will be scary for most people. But this is what I look at. And a lot of us, we have goals and we set our goals, yearly goals, 5-year goals, 10-year goals, and so forth. Obviously, I've got one or two of those that I need to accomplish. All right. But to me, I look at what do I want at the very end when that time has to come.
Mm,
What is it that at that time, what would I want? What is my goal then?
mm.
You know, and I look at that and I say, okay, what would I want then? So basically, there's a couple of things I would want. I would want to have enjoyed my wealth while still alive and just have enough just to pay for my funeral cost. You know, I don't want to sit with $1 million in my account and I didn't enjoy it. So I want to enjoy my wealth, enjoy my blessings till the very end, and just have enough to pay for my funeral costs. So that's my one wish, my one goal.
Okay.
All right. The second one, obviously, to live debt free. So end of the when that time comes, nobody can say you owe me money or you owe me anything. So I would like to to be in that position. And another one is I want to have my family, friends, and others when they at the last moment, maybe they shed a tear too, but more importantly, a smile just arises at their face, and they remember the one or two occasions that I made them laugh. And if I can do that, yeah. And then obviously when the time comes, I want to go with the broadest smile there ever was.
Cool. But I want to ask you one more question.
Yeah, sure.
And the question is, how can most men choose to be as supportive as you are as a husband to your wife, who is a businesswoman?
Okay.
What are your secrets there?
The secret there is basically, yes, we were working together, and obviously it's not as rosy as it sounds. Obviously, you don't want to know the quarrels that we've had in the past 21 years. We are totally opposite people. I don't know, it's just a mismatch of some sort, so we aspire for different things. We think differently, and the fights in the boardrooms gets quite rowdy and loud. So don't think it's all rosy and wonderful, but yeah, we worked through that, and 21 years later, yes, I've lost my hair. But I think the
But
biggest,
it's the two, won't you say that the two negatives will create a positive?
yes, definitely, in our situation, yes. And I think the biggest thing, if I can pinpoint it to one thing,
Hmm.
is that know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So I know what's my strength and I know what's my weaknesses. I
Hmm.
know that I'm good with numbers. I can put a spreadsheet together and I can analyze, and I know I'm good at analyzing things. I know I'm good at researching. But I'm not good in presenting the soft skills and the business skills and the HR skills that Hava so eloquently does. I mean, she's so brilliant on thinking on her feet and coming up with the answers. And I mean, to see her in a training session doing HR or any of the soft skills training is just a pure joy. Because,
So
you know,
may I interrupt over there?
yeah,
So you as a husband have never ever seen Hawa as a threat. You've
no,
always you have always seen her as an addition, a value addition
oh
in
yeah,
everything that you believe in, that she does, and she sees you, I'm quite sure, as a value addition, because in the next couple of weeks I'm going to be bringing her on the show as well.
yeah,
And I want to pick her brains and see what makes this amazing symphony
yeah.
of relationships that you both have that contribute to an organization that is very aptly named Training Excellence.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so if you can just recognize each other's strengths and let the strengths, if they're different, and that's what makes the whole. So,
Exactly,
you
exactly.
know, and if you can recognize that and you can appreciate that and you don't have to compete for that, then that makes life easy.
There's no more time for competition, whether husband or wife or employee, employer, businesses,
Yeah.
um, anything. There's no more time for competition. It's time for collaboration, 100%. And before you go, I'd like for you to share with us where we can get to be able to connect with you, so that our audiences can reach out to you
Mm,
and find out more about you and your business in South Africa and in the UAE as well. So I
very
can
good.
share that information in the show notes of the
Okay.
podcast.
Yeah.
If you would like to give them now on
Yeah,
air.
sure. I think the best is, I'm not so active on social media. At the odd occasion, I do have a Facebook page, but I'm hardly on it. So
So give
if they
us
want,
your website.
yeah, the website is www.trainexcellence.com.
Okay, cool. So I'll
And
put them in my show
Hava,
notes.
Our Shafri's social media pages are full. You
Okay.
can get
That I will get when I'm interviewing her.
yeah.
Cool. Well, Rashid, thank you so much for sharing all your insights with us. And
Pleasure.
ladies and gentlemen, what can we learn from this amazing man who stands behind as the strong pillar and allows his wife to do phenomenal work, which he is truly brilliant at? A person who does the work behind the scenes, a person who also trains and comes forward when required. These two have the most amazing symphony of relationship to really bring each other's amazing skills and power to deliver precisely what it is that their children have inspired them to be and to do differently. So God bless you both, Rashid and Hawa.
So
And thank you so much for taking the time to truly come and share your insights with me and all of my listeners. Thank you
it
so much.
was an absolute pleasure, Jenny. If I can just end up with one quote.
Sure, please do. Please do.
And first, before I do that, thank you so much, Jenny. You've been a good friend. You've been somebody that we always look up to, and your words of wisdom when we need it most at times, you just dish it out without us even asking, and that brought much relief to our hearts. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so I just end with a quote from a guy by the name of Moro Morandi.
Mm,
And he writes something, he says, understood that the most beautiful, dangerous, adventurous, and gratifying journey of all is the one inside yourself. So
totally. Wonderful. What a way to end this call. Thank you for that sharing, seriously, Rashid. Thank you so
thank you so
much.
much.
It's been a pleasure. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Abdul Rashid Shafari, who has been an inspiration in my life and has brought me a lot of things that I can learn from. And what can we learn from him? And what can we actually bring into our lives that is going to change? And for us to actually have change that is consciously going to make us aware of what it is that is out there that we haven't even tapped into yet. So, having said that, thank you, Rashid, one more time for being on the call. And thank you,
Bye bye.
ladies and gentlemen. Bye for now. Thank you. Bye bye.